And for those who didn't know, I did not show up yesterday morning because I had to take care of some stuff with my daughter. Medical stuff, nothing big, life things. But, yeah, I know. If you ever hear that, that's the dash cam to my car. And it is not networked, so if by chance it comes to pass I ever need to pull footage off of it, which I have had to before, I just have to literally connect to it, either wirelessly or grab the SD card out of it to get the footage. And I will, for those who do not keep the dash cams, I highly recommend it. Even the cheapest of dash cams. This was 3 years ago, and of course it was in North Carolina. Don't get me, I've already started on. You all know I don't really care much for that place. But this was in Johnson County, Clayton. Yeah, in Clayton. And I'm pulling up to a stop sign. And when you're at a stop sign going onto a major, like a 4-lane, it's pretty speedy. And so I get to the stop sign, I look, and it looks clear. And I always get off the gas for like a quarter second and off the brake for like a quarter second, and then I hit the gas. So that's what I did. And as I got off the brake, I looked, there was this car just shooting down the road. So I stepped on the brake. Nope, not getting in front of that. Dude slammed me right in the back. I had a Nissan. It's the little micro SUV that Nissan had. Rogue. I had a Nissan Rogue. And this dude hit me. And dude was about to drive off. I swear to you, he was about to drive off and say, screw you, hit and run, all that good stuff. And I saw, when he looked, he saw my dash cam pulled right over. Now, I don't know if it was seeing the dash cam, oh crap, he's got my license tag if I pass him. I don't know if that was his thought process. I don't know if he thought I was a cop or whatever, but because I saw his eyes, he literally looked at it and he was like, oh crap. So, because of my dash cam, this guy did not do the hit and run thing. And this is also the funny part. So the dude that hit me was a young man and his girlfriend. And when he called 911, police came out and all that stuff for the accident, and my wife actually ended up going to the hospital at that point. At the time, we did not know all the details of the MS, so when she was rattled from that accident, it was, well, it's always important, but it was more important because we had the other things that we were learning about MS in the process. But yeah, it was a dude and his girlfriend. And come to find out, he apparently was running some kind of drugs or paraphernalia or something, because the police came and got him. He came and got him. So, yeah, 2 morals of the story here. Moral number 1, don't rear end people. Don't do that. 3 morals. Moral number 2, if you rear end somebody, don't run off. Moral number 3, do not keep drugs and paraphernalia on your in your vehicle or on your possession and then go hit somebody. Those are my life tips for today. But yep, it's Wednesday. It's good, and truthfully, I'm gonna have myself a busy one. I already know it. Yesterday messed up my schedule. I missed a couple of meetings, and here we go. But we'll see how it goes. I know there are a lot of things going on in the world. It's like you're always kind of thinking about it. You might even want to talk about it, but at the same time, it's like so much news and media drama. And some of it's relevant. Like, we kind of need to know things that are going on. But people always have to put their own 2 cents worth of politics in, as opposed to just looking at the situation and saying what needs to happen and what's going to happen and what, And so I say all that to say, I do have thoughts on Iran. and all of the military action that's going on, I have thoughts, but I kind of don't want to talk about them. I kind of don't want to talk about them. I just want to kind of sit back and observe and just make sure that my folks are okay. And I would hope that everyone out there is doing the same. Just sit back and hope that your folks are okay. Now, if you know things, if you're in the know, if you know greater details and you're more well informed, then of course you can take different actions. But to someone like myself who is casually informed, and true statement, I consider my talk radio ingestion and my occasional, at this stage in life, it's occasional, Fox News viewing, I'm not informed, I'm told. I don't take it as gospel. So yeah, there are things going on in the world, and I know a little bit about it. I have opinions on it, but I don't want to talk about it. I'm not have meant. It's not, I don't want to hear it. It's like I'm not the guy to talk about it, and I think that's okay. Now, what I do want to talk about are Pop-Tarts. Are we in Hawaii? Aloha. I've only met one native Hawaiian ever in my life, and yeah, we did not get along. She was a little fussy, but it's okay. Or maybe I was fussy. It could be either. But yeah. But hello down there in the islands. But Pop-Tarts. I was the kid who loved Pop-Tarts. Loved Pop-Tarts. And I love Pop-Tarts so much that as an adult, I still habitually will buy a box of Pop-Tarts occasionally. Strawberry, unfrosted, toaster, no microwave, not plain. Good morning, hey, how are we? Yeah, Pop-Tarts, important things in the world. But, so, I bought Pop-Tarts, and for the first time in my life, I took a bite of it and I was like, this is not it. Like, why did I buy this? You know what? I'm alive. I'm alive. I have not. I have been muddled in a project for work and can't do that during the week. Can't do it during the week. Too many things to do. But yeah, it's we've been bogged down. We've been bogged down, and it's okay. But I just don't have it for the Pop-Tarts anymore. Maybe that lack of of that activity could be a factor. I don't know. But I bit into it, and I was like, why did I buy this? And there are a lot of foods like that. Now, I never really got into Hot Pockets. But I assume if I were a Hot Pocket person, I'd be that way. It's like, I can't eat that anymore. No Pop-Tarts? Yeah, not anymore. I used to be all about the Pop-Tarts, and now like this one bite this morning, I was like, no, just no. I think I'm murdering myself. I don't think this is right. But now I will say frozen pizza. I don't know what has changed in the world. When I was a kid, frozen pizza was just, it just wasn't good. I don't know if the way they did it changed, the market's changed, but frozen pizza's pretty decent. And I'm a fan of the stuffed crust, by the way. But frozen pizza, man, I like the DiGiorno. DiGiorno has a stuffed crust. Now, my wife likes this Detroit-style pizza. West Virginia, wild and wonderful. And West Virginia is funny because I'm not originally from here. I'm originally from Maryland. I don't admit that often in public. I did not like growing up in Maryland. I still don't like Maryland. Good morning, DT. How are we? But no, I didn't like growing up in Maryland. I still see Maryland as very uppity. Dude, I don't care how much money you make. If you're a jerk, you're a jerk. That's my view on Maryland. And that's my view on the Triangle, specifically in North Carolina. I just don't like uppity people who look down on blue-collar types, working types. I don't like those people who, when you first meet them, the first thing they want to talk about is their money. And, you know, how much they do. And, hey, good morning. And so, yeah, I was raised in that environment. I was raised in an environment where my parents, who were both teachers and, you know, public school administrators, and if you know teachers, my degree happens to be in mathematics education. But if you know teachers, they're politicians, most of them. I'd say about 80%. They're politicians. And my parents were political. Raise you from the dead? Is that good? Hey, get that laugh in before I hit the interstate here. But I didn't like Maryland. It just wasn't my personality. I'm kind of a grunt, you know. No matter how much brains or whatever, I'm the guy that hates getting dressed. Shoot, if I don't have to shower, I won't. Algebra? Okay. To all the people who are watching right now, and to all who will watch later, please excuse the truth that I am about to say about math specifically. If you have a person or a child that struggles at math, over 90% of the time, I'm a math nerd, man. But over 90% of the time, if you are having difficulty with any level of math outside of plane geometry is a whole nother animal because it's not numbers. But if you are having difficulty with any level of math, there are two things you should do. Item number one, don't be lazy. Because if you are lazy, you will not get math. They don't do it now, but remember when we were in school and you got the homework assignment that you must be a scientifically thinking person, not what's the word, like statistically, numerically thinking person. But you remember the homework you got where it's the same variation of the same problem, but 100 of them? That's why, because it's repetition, repetition, repetition. It's like throwing a fastball. You keep the grip and you spin it the same way. You don't change it. And so that's the first part of math. You have to go through the motions, if you will. And you have to understand that it's not instantaneous. It takes time. It takes work. Math is very workmanlike. So it's difficult to say what someone does or does not need from a distance when it comes to math, because I don't know. I have to look at that when I'm stopped. But it's difficult to say from a distance how to help somebody with math, because some people with math just need to be told, I'm not going to help you. You have to do it yourself. And then all of a sudden they're aces. Serious statement. Some people, the best way to help them is say, you have to do this. Now, when you got me nerding out here. Yes, orders of operation is crucial, because when you are doing math, especially your advanced math, there are steps that you have to follow, and you have to follow them in a certain way. And if you don't follow them with that discipline, and if you don't hold to the formula, you're going to fail. It depends on the student. It really does, because It's it's like a lot of things. If you work it and work it properly, you will get the proper results. It's really that simple. And the thing with math is, as human beings, we all just want to do our own thing. You have to follow the process, and that's learn the theorems, learning the just all the things. I mean, it's just so much. I think the first time I really hit that almost wall where I was like, I'm not doing this. Differential equations, freshman year of college. It was just, this is too much work. I just don't want to. But then they told me if my grades weren't good that I wasn't going to be able to play baseball, and that changed everything. Got from a B to an A in a matter of seconds. I have 4 children, and oh, MF Doom is a rapper. Okay. I don't know a lot about rap. I just don't know a lot of rap. It's like in modern times, I know NF, but I've kind of fallen off the NF bandwagon over the last 3 years. I mean, I think Hope was kind of his last gasp in my mind. Modern day rappers. Yeah, he is more of a poet. Because I think rap was just one of those things that was, and this isn't to be insulting to NF, he's doing a lot more things than I am. But I think rap was just an easy way for him to get into the scene. And generally speaking, MF Doom was I don't know anything. I had to check it out. And generally speaking, I would agree that, especially nowadays, a lot of rap is just garbage. I don't care about, I don't care for the language in most of them. And that's hypocritical, because as a kid, I was like, if you had some foul language and talking some trash, I was all in it. I agree. As a grown adult, I don't want to hear it. It's just, I'm too grown for that. It's like Andrew Dice Clay, similar conversation. I remember being in high school on the track team, and when you run track and field, it's kind of like an all-day picnic party, and listening to Andrew Dice Clay. And it was hilarious, because I was a 15, 16, 17-year-old idiot who didn't know that, dude, that's just vulgar. There's a difference between vulgar and funny. Yeah, and it was hilarious back then. As an adult, especially an adult with daughters, it's like, nah, I don't need that in my ear. And it doesn't mean that I'm looking at everybody else who still enjoys it like, oh, you're a piece of crap. No, I mean, that's why I say I know it's hypocritical. Because at one point in time, the nastier it was, the more I was into it. About a month ago, I played Slow and Easy. Yeah, kids are an absolute game changer. And my personal opinion, if you have children and nothing in your life changes, that means one of 3 things. Number 1, you have all the money and you could just put people in place to do things so your life doesn't have to change. Number 2, you are already living a perfect life. Or number 3, you're kind of not a decent human. A lot of things changed when my children came into play. I remember telling my boss when my oldest daughter was born, I said, I just don't want to have her writing Eminem songs about me when she gets older. I failed at that. But my mother always told me, you raise your children, you build the foundation, love, respect, workmanship, decency. And my mother told me that they will stray. They will. She said what you have to hope for is, number one, when they stray, they don't do irreparable damage to themselves or their name. And number two, that they come back. They come back. And that's what I hold to. I said, in my particular situation, there were some things that my child came out of her mouth with that, I mean, it's just, I don't want to deal with that. And I don't want to deal with anybody who has that in their heart or in their mind. I just don't want to. Love my daughter to death. She, quite frankly, is a mini-me. She'll hate to hear that, but it's true. But, yeah, there are certain things you cannot say to me and expect me to come back from it. I don't recycle. So you can't throw me in the trash and then, bring me. No, it doesn't work that way. To quote the Ramones, I'm not Jesus. So, yeah, I'm not going to be recycled. I'm not going to be resurrected. That's not going to happen. Once you build that fence with me, I will help you fortify it. And I don't say that to say that's like, great for me. I'm sure that it's not exactly the best way to be, but it's how I am. I just try to leave people alone, be left alone. And if someone shows me that they want to be left alone, then I'll leave them alone. And that's one of the things that happens in life with a lot of us that is very difficult to deal with and learn from. And so when we have those situations, I guess a simple way to put it is when things just don't show up or turn out the way you want it to, you have to have places like this. And I've said this 7 million times, this platform, I wasn't expecting this, but this is, I'm on the psychologist couch right now, just telling everybody what's going on in my head. Truthfully, I probably needed to do something like this for a while, and I think a lot of you may understand this. When you're working, when you're taking care of people, and ladies, don't get upset, but this is probably a testosterone-based life form thing more than an estrogen-based life form thing. You don't have time. You don't have time to take care of the mental and to take care of the physical. A lot of men out there have things going on, but we kind of think that we need to just keep pushing and keep doing things, because if we don't, who else is going to? Truth be told, that is my mindset. For those who don't know, I'm an epileptic. Had my first heart attack at 17. I have got it. My back is garbage. If it weren't for daylight, I don't like driving at night. I just cannot see properly, or at least I can't see comfortably. There are a lot of things, and truth be told, like I said, we all do, and I'm not saying this like, I'm not special, but, I go through it. There's some days where you wake up and you just, I don't want to. But you have to. And the way I was raised as a grown man, you don't have time. My dad used to tell me this, because I did not find out that I was epileptic till I was 40. And the part of the reason why I didn't find out is because my dad's an old-fashioned Georgia boy. It was very simple. We do not have time for you to be sick. That quote, we don't have time for you to be sick. You better toughen up and get this done. Now, In the year 2026, that is not exactly how we behave. But in the year 1976, yeah, that was normal-ish. You didn't let your boy be soft because he didn't feel well. Anybody here ever go to school with 100+ fever? Oh, thank you. Just me talking. A lot of nice folks around too. Hopefully you get along with them all. It's an interesting ride we have here. Very random. Like, I had no idea I'd be talking about about medical stuff this morning. And this is a good ride. This is a good ride. I think the folks that have gathered here are decent folks, you know? And what else can you ask for? I'm pretty sure, let me get over. You know, when you're driving, you see that person, like I'm in cruise control and 72 miles an hour in cruise control. And then you know, because when you're driving properly, you're checking things, you're looking around, and you see that person getting, and there he is right there. He's got to be going about 90. You see how easily he passed me? I'm going 72. Gone. I don't have time for that. But yeah, my dad raised me to either ignore or get past whatever is bothering me. Even like I said, when you talk about the mental health, my dad would say, yes, walk it off, put some ice on it. Was it Chevy Chase? Put a little butter on it. But yeah, I mean, we don't do that now. I think a lot of us older folks watch the NFL and like, well, shoot, girls could play in this league. It's like you hit someone too hard, they throw you out of the league. Turpentine, I actually learned about that from my neighbor just a little bit ago. Turpentine apparently sucks all the poison out of your blood. I did not know that. This winter actually has been an experience, a learning experience for me. I did not know that the ash from your fireplace will melt ice. 16 degrees it was, and I read it on the Google. And so I got the ash from the fireplace and sprinkled it in random locations, and what do you know, 16 degrees, the ice was going away. And turpentine, so with the weather finally starting to break, talking to my neighbor, and I hope that a lot of you out here have a similar situation to me. My neighbor is one of those folks, you see him when you see him, and this man is extremely helpful. Like I said, living in Appalachia is different. And there are certain things, and driving in snow in Appalachia is not like driving in snow in Maryland, North Carolina, PA, and I know technically most good bit of PA is Appalachia, but it's not the same. But little pointers. And every time when my wife feels well enough to cook, we make sure we take him over a plate because he's been good. He's been helpful. He's been a good neighbor. And I honestly, I don't know the last time I was able to say that. And I'm going back to childhood, where I can look at someone and say, that's a good neighbor, without the State Farm. I don't need Patrick Mahomes on that. But I don't even know how I got to... I was talking about Appalachia, and moving over here is different, and I forgot where I was going, but it's okay. Because like I said, a lot of what happens here, we have good folks who show up here. We have conversations. Every now and then, yes, they are. Every now and then, you know, I don't like folks getting chippy. You know, a lot of times you go on certain people's channels and it's like, I'm here for the comments. I like the comments that are like the emojis, you know. I like the comments that are like, I get a kick out of it when someone says, you know what, I needed to hear this today. Because the truth of the matter is, sometimes I'll have a song in my queue and I'll play it up because I needed to hear it. We all have our music therapy. And so, yeah, sometimes I just need to hear a song, man, a certain one. And it really kind of melts my heart. It's really cool when someone says, you know, yeah, I needed that today. then there's Pooh out there, just to everything. But Pooh's my buddy. Look. We all have that friend who wants to jab you all the time. And I think Pooh's that friend. But Pooh's got good taste. Pooh's a good dude. And I do. When I play something, I wait to see what Pooh says. And now, I'm still waiting for Pooh to like a Bandmate song. But, yeah, I mean, this whole thing, man. Pooh's a blast. That is true. I can go there's a Michael Tucker. Michael Tucker was probably the first person I started really having a back and forth interaction with. His wife has a YouTube channel also, and I don't know it off the top of my head. But we have had conversations a lot about faith and family. Because what happens when you go through life and things happen, you start questioning everything. And I've always been the person who questions everything anyway. And he great taste in music, and not quite. Like I said, it's been hectic the last couple of weeks here, and so. But yeah. Yeah, Michael Tucker's there are a lot of people, I've said it, if by chance it comes to pass, somehow this becomes some level of, oh cool, I can get a couple of bucks. The first thing I want to do is pay for all my wife's medical stuff. We're way behind. But I want to get that paid for. That's first and foremost. And then the second thing I want to do is actually get a vehicle specifically for running into folks like, hey, where do you live? I'll see you on Tuesday. And you set the track list and we just ride. And then we throw it out there and people are like, hey, look, 2 idiots on the road. Yep. That's, at this point in life, that would be cool, because one of the things I also want to do is go on a baseball stadium tour. So it kind of fits in line. But I've run into some good people. We all see DT in the comments. DT is a good human also. DT and I have, what's the word I'm looking for? Not residual, supplementary. Because I understand, despite what you see on the, I know. And I guess part of the thought process is I don't plan on retiring from regular work anytime soon. So you will have to take that comment, paste it on one of the videos, because what happens is when I get off the road and I park, all the scrolling comments don't show up. So what I have to do is kind of glance, and when I see the long ones, I just look for 1 or 2 words. So yeah, paste it and send it to me, because I am always open to hearing things, listening to things, and I'm also always open to torturing Pooh with new things. I could go on for, it's interesting, because there are some names. There's a Celeste Nelson, and another one, good taste, you know. There is a newer lady that I've seen, mostly reacting to the country songs. I can't remember her, but this is kind of what I'm getting at. Was I ever on the show Soul Train? Come on, man. Only once. No, I wasn't on Soul Train. I remember Soul Train. And it's funny because we talk about Gen X, right? And I've always said one of the things about Gen X was we had the best of music in almost, in every genre. We had the best soul music. We had the best rock and roll. We had the best punk in the 80s going into the 90s. We had the best country at that time. You know, so when you talk about Soul Train, I think about like my dad, and he wouldn't watch American Bandstand. He might halfway watch Solid Gold. But me, as a little kid, I was watching Soul Train, Solid Gold, American Bandstand. There's just, yes, it's just, there was just so much. I mean, you go to high school, you know, when you go to the lunchroom in high school, you get all the greasers or the metalheads hanging out. I didn't mean to bring out the outsiders, but you get all the metalheads hanging out there with their Aussie shirts and all that stuff. But then somehow or another, they understand Run DMC. Vice versa. You get the kids that are all about the Run DMC, the Cool Mo D, the Cool J Pop and all that stuff. But somehow or another, they know the Pyromania album front to back. That's Gen X. I mean, and it doesn't mean it is universal. And you know, it doesn't mean that, well, people weren't stuck in genres. There was a lot of crossover, and it was good. There is a story, I want to say Shaquille O'Neal tells about meeting Dirk Nowitzki's wife. And once again, I just kind of glanced at that, right? But what I got in the first line there, if you ever get bored, try to find Shaquille O'Neal talking about when he first met Dirk Nowitzki's wife. I think it's hilarious. And I say that on the tail that the comment was made about, you know, being the white kid who likes the black women. And it's funny because, once again, this is a Gen X thing. Now, look, interracial couples have been around since humans have been around. Let's be real about this, right? We're all human. Just some of us have been in the oven a little longer. I have literally never consciously listened to anything by Chris Stapleton. So I don't know. I don't know. But now there's someone to get in, you know, a first listen to. Because I like the stuff. Looks. That's one of the things that I didn't like about North Carolina. And for those North Carolinians who are listening or will watch in the future, I cannot apologize for what I have experienced. North Carolina was one of those places to me that they look at you first. So, if by chance it comes to pass, you are someone like myself who I don't get dressed. Unless there's a meeting or it's church, I don't get dressed. I'm not doing it. I got a pair of cargo shorts I've had for 20 plus years that fit just great. I wear them as much as I can. Yeah, it's judgment. That's true. It's judgment. And I didn't like, at one point in time, I was actually told that I was turned down for a position because my hair was too long. This was a coaching position. This wasn't even a real job. Enjoy. Have a good day, because I'm looking at the clock and it's about time for me to jump off of here anyway. But yeah, things like that, things like how you dress. My experience in North Carolina was like, you can't even go into certain buildings. It is human nature. It is human nature. And that's why I won't sit there and say, well, actually I do say, as in North Carolina's kind of a crap hole. That's my 2 cents. But it's still America, that's for sure. And I just have a hard time with the constant book judging cover. Now, there is profiling. Profiling is a reality and in some cases a necessity. There's a difference between profiling and prejudging. There really is. You know, you can look at certain situations and predict the future, but you can't just look at a sign there or a person just standing there and say that is what it is. You can't do that. But you can look at a person who is doing something in a certain environment and say, okay, that. Like I said, that's just me. But I realize that I'm checking my mirror here because I need this truck to clear a little bit before I get over. It's going to be a minute to stay in my lane. But yeah, I'm about 10 minutes away from the office. We're going to go and be productive today. Everybody, have a safe and happy Wednesday. For what it's worth, I am a very thankful human today. I looked and I saw that I said in the post that it was 11. That's like 1,300 people in this ride. I have a very huge vehicle here, and I appreciate every single one of you because it's just me, man. It's just talking. It literally is just talking. Oh, and acting like an idiot, jamming out the good stuff. So, but yeah, I got to get my mind ready for work. Everybody, have a safe and happy Wednesday. You're going to see the creepy finger go across the phone. Enjoy.